don't think there's a game that frustrates me more than Frogger. Actually, I can't say that. There are a lot of games that frustrate me more than Frogger. But it's not even that I don't like Frogger. It's just they frustrates the hell out of me. I mean, Frogger's a game of patience. What you have to understand is that I have no patience. I'm also playing it with an analog stick. And playing Frogger with an analog stick, one of the dumbest things you could possibly do. And look, and I'm sure there's a Game Boy Advance around here somewhere that I could play it on. But then I'd have to get up and look and move things, which takes a lot of patience. Looking for things takes a lot of patience. And we've already been over my lack of patience. I'd go over it again, but look, I don't have the patience. It's Frogger's Adventures! This game was released in 2001 for the Game Boy Advance. Now, around that time, Konami was releasing a lot of Frogger games. They're trying to re-energize the series a bit. Frankly, on consoles, they did a pretty piss-poor job. I mean, Frogger Beyond, that game was the worst. There's no way you could speak kindly about that thing. That thing sucks. There was also Frogger the Great Quest, a game I've never played and hope not to. That thing also looks horrible. Fortunately, on the Game Boy Advance, there was this, Frogger's Adventures. The only one that doesn't make you want to croak. But listen, first things first though, the game immediately tries to force a story on you. And not that I've ever cared about a story in Frogger, but listen, I care even less on a handheld Frogger. For f***'s sake, he's a frog who jumps over things. I want to jump, not read. This is like, you're going skydiving, and right before you jump, the pilot stops and says, hey, you want to read my manuscript first? No one wants to read your goddamn manuscript. Fortunately, you can skip through all this dialogue, all this bullshit, and jump right into the gameplay. No offense, Frogger, but, I mean, your story, it's not very riveting. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Once the game starts, it feels like classic Frogger. At least the mechanics do. Levels are basically set up like grids. You can jump one square at a time. Doing that, your objective is to get to the exit. Sounds simple. The best part is that it is. It's got the same addictive simplicity that defined the 1981 original, only it's got all those 2001 extras. There are 5 worlds in Frogger's Adventures, as well as bosses to fight, coins to collect, and some insanely challenging puzzles to solve. And that's what's so cool about it. You know, it updates the package, but the gameplay's largely the same. Still as frustrating as goddamn ever. And see, listen, this is the thing that drives me crazy about Frogger. It's especially true in this expanded Frogger. I mean, you have to jump square by square, which means, like, you have to be aware of every single jump you make, you know? So, like, look at this. You have to run really fast through this trap, but you can't just hammer the D-pad real fast to get through it, like you normally would. Otherwise, you make too many jumps, and then you fall off the ledge, which I did. Look, I do that all the time in this game. Partially because it's hard to train yourself to be conscious of every single move you make, but also because the levels they're pretty long, and at some point, you just start to lose your patience with this one square at a time thing. And by you, I mean I start to lose my patience, assuming I ever had it. But obviously that's Frogger, and I just have to deal with it. That's how it's supposed to be, and that's why it's good. Which is why Frogger and I can never be friends. But at least it plays well, when you're not f***ing yourself. Although, again, I'm playing this on the GameCube with the Game Boy player, and normally I'd tell you that's the best way to play any GBA game. But that is not the case with this one. Playing this with a GameCube controller, this just sucks. The GameCube's D-pad, well, it's a little underdeveloped D-pad fetus. Playing with the analog stick is a total nightmare. I can't tell you how many times I jumped somewhere that I didn't even mean to, that I don't even think I pushed it that way, which only compounded my frustrations. Actually, and that part's probably my fault. Sorry, Frogger. But anyway, those are obviously all my problems. It's not really the game's fault. I have a lot of problems. On the negative side, the music and sound are just unbearable. Let's play this with a good record on, or something. Maybe Blackwater Park to help ease the frustration. To be honest, not a fan of the art style either. It's way too DreamWorks looking. And yes, I mean that in offense to DreamWorks. Looks like what a cheap, straight-to-DVD home video Frogger movie might look like. So that sucks. But I mean, that's just the style though. You know, the graphics at least look good technically, like the sprites and stuff. So at least that's something. I guess I just would have preferred something more retro looking, but hey! I also told you to play this while playing records. I myself am very retro. And at least at its core, so is Frogger. If you're looking for some old school gameplay with a new school package, this thing delivers, baby. And I know, look, I know you guys think amphibian, but it's true. It's Frogger's Adventures, Temple of the Frog. Thanks to Chris from Jersey City, New Jersey, for sending it in.